STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Are you really set up for the future? I mean, buying a home, putting money away for your kids' college, thinking about retirement. Are you dialed in, or are you just kind of hoping it all works out? That's where Royal Banks of Missouri comes in. They'll actually sit down with you and build a real savings plan that fits your life, not some cookie-cutter approach. Whether it's roundup savings, money market accounts, or IRAs, they've got the tools. Most importantly, they've got the people to help you use them the right way. And if you run a business, this is big. Their treasury management team helps you stay on top of cash flow, cut down on fraud risk, and simplify your operations so you can focus on growing your business instead of chasing down numbers all day. That's the difference. Local bankers who actually know you and care about your success. Give them a call today, 314-212-1500, or visit royalbanksofmo.com to learn more. Royal Banks of Missouri, investing in our communities, one client at a time. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Tony Colombo here for All Solutions Pest Control, the team Christine and I trust to protect our home. We've used multiple services at multiple homes over the years, and I can tell you from all that experience, All Solutions is second to none. If you have a pest problem of any kind, or more importantly, just want to prevent a problem, All Solutions is the team to call. Learn more and take advantage of their incredible $67 introductory offer right now at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
Hey guys, don't miss Straight Lines with Elizabeth Kayser every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. where we talk about so many areas, including AI, law, and health. We have some fantastic guests on my show. Don't forget, Sunday evenings at 8 p.m., Straight Lines with Elizabeth Kayser.
Stand and fight with Nick Schroer.
Hey, it's Nick Schroer. To preserve this nation, to preserve the experiment in liberty that our founders envisioned, we must take a stand and fight.
Stand and fight with Nick Schroer. Sunday nights at 6.
Only on News Talk STL.
News Talk STL. This hour of the Allman Report brought to you by STL Fenceworks, celebrating 50 years of industry-leading service for fence, deck, and leisure space solutions. Visit stlfenceworks.com.
Golly, it's already Fancy Friday, everybody. Good afternoon. This is the Allman Report, the 3 Martini Lunch. Jamie Allman here with you and Ashton over there. And it's also, of course, Common Sense Radio. And aside from being the 3 Martini Lunch, it was also a Shorty's BLT lunch for me. Well, at least half of one in the car before I came in here because I had the privilege of visiting the Vic Porcelli Show. Ken and Vic there at the the grand opening. Well, it seems like it was at least, because it was a grand opening indeed. There were a ton of people there right at Westport, Shorty's at Westport. They're open until 2 o'clock, so you could still stop by there for lunch, because I grabbed some lunch. I called ahead, ordered a BLT and a side of coleslaw, and then eventually, and Phil Valencia, I know you're on there, so when I mention mayo, don't get all grossed out. I don't want to see any of these vomit emojis on there, whatever. But anyway, I ordered a BLT, side of coleslaw, and ate some of it before I came in, put the rest in the fridge. Later on, you know what I'm going to do, don't you? Yes, of course you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of the coleslaw on the BLT and eat it that way. But, man, it's so old school at Shorty's. Everything, I mean, no wheat bread for me. I guess I could have had the choice, but it was a nice, good old-fashioned toasted white, and there I was. And so it was really fun to be on the show with Vic and Ken. And Shorty's is Julie had to come in and get grossed out. Okay. Anyway, that's the story from Shorty's. It's a beautiful place, and it's really right across the street from here. So that's kind of really groovy, very convenient for all of us. But it's a great place. Lots of really fun, happy people there. And it is Americana. That is the best I can describe it. Old school Americana at Shorty's. And I will tell you, Dave Cullen, who I saw there, he brought his 1969 black Mustang to the restaurant, and it was sitting outside the restaurant. He showed it to me on the way out. Dave, thanks a lot for that. Kathleen Murphy, yeah, your office is at Westport. There you go. There's plenty of stuff there, and this is like right down the street from the actual Westport place. But anyway, it's beautiful. The original interior, and then on the hood, it has the musical notes to Mustang Sally. So it's all around the hood of Mustang Sally is a great song. But have you ever seen people try to dance to Mustang Sally at weddings and stuff like that? It's like one of those songs you just kind of stand out on the dance floor, or you make a complete fool of yourself trying to imagine that you're actually dancing with any kind of skill to the Mustang Sally song. Anyway, it was a beautiful day over at Shorty's, and everybody seemed very happy, and this is kind of the way it ought to be in the great USA. I'm going to even make you happier, because I'm going to give you the results of the election in the UK yesterday, where the left got its rear end handed to it. And if the UK people can do that, we can too. This should be a really ominous bellwether for the left as we go into the midterms, because, I mean, if the European people, I was going to call them Eurotrash, but not if they're conservative, if the Europeans can do this and reject leftism, certainly the United States of America can. So that is absolutely, totally good news. Very disappointed with this UFO file dump. Did you guys see that? It's like, oh, look, it's 3 lights out of the window of Apollo. I'm like, well, they look like stars, or it's like satellite debris or something. I'm like, I don't know. And then the other one was everything was in Iraq and the UAE. I'm trying to think of like, okay, what about that place in New Mexico and all this other stuff? So we got basically a bunch of pictures of things, and but it wasn't even in any way, shape, or form. You know, I see this headline, "The truth is out." It's like, what truth? I mean, Steve Ducey tried to, kind of dress it up a little bit.
Left this hard drive on my desk overnight. You can see on it, it says AARO files copy 203. That is the all domain resolution office copy 203. This is the first big batch of UFO disclosure ordered by President Trump. Some of the clips and videos on there have popped up different places before. Some of them have not, and we have been going through this all morning and overnight to try to put together some of the best videos so we can all look at this together. This is a world exclusive right here. So let's
I'll look at nothing together is what it is. It's just a bunch of blurry photographs. It reminds me of the old days. Remember, like in the 70s, when people would take pictures of trash can lids that they threw up into the air, like the metal trash can lids. And they would take pictures of them and say, oh, that's a UFO. It's like, no, that's a trash can lid, dude. Or that's a saucer sled that you just threw up into the air. But I don't know. Maybe there's more. I don't know, Peter.
Let's go to the first clip. Over the skies of the United Arab Emirates in June 2024. An inverted teardrop with a vertically linear trailing mass, as described by the War Department, suspended below. The War Department cannot say for sure what.
And of course, it has to be in the UAE. You know, it's like when you remember the supermarket tabloids, and remember Bat Boy, when he was a boy that looked like a bat. But of course, it's like in Nigeria or something. There's never anything happening in the United States of America. It's always like, look at this. It's over the UAE. Well, show me something over Virginia, and I'll get excited.
It is officially listed as an unresolved UAP report. The next video, over the skies of Iraq, December 2022, moving bottom left to top right of the field of view.
right in Iraq, right over Bat Boy's house.
All CENTCOM gets from this is an area of contrast. That's what they describe it as. It is officially still listed as an unresolved UAP report. Next video, over the skies of Greece, October.
Of course. Nothing above Florida or Utah or anything in the U.S. It's all like in foreign countries.
2023. What is described as a small and circular UAP flying near the surface of the ocean towards land.
Which flew over the alligator family that just happens to have human heads.
CENTCOM can't tell us what it is. It is officially listed as an unresolved UAP report. Within the last 2 minutes, all of these videos have gone live on war.gov/UFO, and a White House official tells Fox First, while past administrations sought to discredit or dissuade the American people, President Trump is focused on providing maximum transparency to the public, who can ultimately make up their own minds about the information contained in these files.
Yeah, okay, remember yesterday I was telling you that the hype was so big that there were people like these pastors who were claiming that they had been briefed by U.S. intelligence that the information is going to be so groundbreaking and so amazing, and we're going to have all these accounts of other galaxies and all this kind of stuff, and it'll cause people to question the Bible and the creation story and all this nonsense, and we, of course, blew that out of the water because that's impossible. But nonetheless, I mean, is this what they were talking about? Like a bunch of, things that have been unresolved UAPs that are flying over Iraq? I mean, seriously, I have no idea. I mean, I remember because I think it was over the weekend or was it Monday when Kash Patel came out. I was like, yeah, we're going to drop everything soon. It's all going to be there. And when the FBI director gives you kind of a heads up that something's coming out, you'd think it'd be more than, a bunch of debris that the astronauts saw floating by their spaceship or some moving. It looked to me like it was maybe a small airplane or something. Who knows? I just thought there'd be something that would come out that would be significant in one way, shape, or form, but it apparently is not. All right, and one other fun thing for this fancy Friday, and we might find out more, but is this what we've been waiting for this whole time? I'm wondering, is there more, or is this what we've been waiting for? Because if this is what we've been waiting for, these files hidden by other administrations, then it's not very exciting. Maybe I'm not paying attention or what have you, but it seems to me that it's not as fun as as I thought it would be. All right. People are still, though, having fun, ladies and gentlemen. And this happened at a Charlotte Knights minor league baseball game. And, of course, I don't know, if you guys ever go to minor league stadiums and parks, it's really a ton of fun. I mean, the minor league people do it up. I mean, and they do it kind of in a crazy fashion. And I think the guys who are, those banana guys, the baseball banana guys, what are their names again? Banana? I don't know. But they're really hugely popular. They sold out Busch Stadium when even the Cardinals couldn't do it. I think they did it 2 times in a row also. But they kind of are an outgrowth of the minor league vibe, and they just kind of do it more. It's like the what? Oh, Savannah Bananas. Yeah, those guys are great. Anyway, that kind of came out of the whole minor league thing, and they just kind of have more of a circus atmosphere, a little looser. It kind of reminds me a little bit of when you go to the indoor football game here. It's like the atmosphere is similar. Anyway, so the national anthem is sung, and it's Ronald McDonald singing the national anthem. I kid you not. He's in the whole garb and everything. Jamie Allman's talking over the national anthem. It's like, I know, I'm just trying to explain this. Do not talk over the national anthem. Like, okay, I'm sorry. Let it play out. How dare you talk over Ronald McDonald singing the national anthem? Anyway, I love it, and it just is a great little slice of Americana, and it is incredible how many people are absolutely having no fun whatsoever, including people like Jake Tapper, who decided he was going to dissect the Marco Rubio press conference and get all crabby about Marco Rubio's use of 90s hip-hop lyrics. And, you can believe that, though. I didn't even notice it, but the sourpusses in the news media certainly did. But keep in mind, we've got Ronald McDonald singing the national anthem. We've got the government acting like a supermarket tabloid, showing us pictures of flying trash cans, and a Secretary of State who is quoting 90s hip-hop lyrics. It's a fancy Friday for sure, man. Hey, by the way, Elizabeth Kayser is in Germany. Lufthansa lost her luggage. But she's still going to join us to talk to us about the latest with the data centers and all that kind of stuff. And, of course, Doug Giles at 1 o'clock. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL.
Is absolutely fantastic.
Yes, I listen on my phone.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
It is awesome.
Download the all-new News Talk STL app and listen anytime, anywhere.
I want to share something with you. Cooking a pizza using coal creates an amazing pizza. Only one place to get it, Napoli Brothers Pizza and Pasta in Chesterfield. Of course, they offer a wide variety of pasta, but you just visit the website, NapoliSTL.com, dine in or take out, and get ready for patio season. Napoli Brothers Pizza and Pasta in Chesterfield Valley. Try it. You can thank me later.
Hey, it's Vic Porcelli. We're sitting here with our great friend, Chris Cooper. Hi, Chris.
What's going on, Vic? How are you?
I hear you wrote another book. This one's an e-book. Is that right?
The Business Owner's Playbook for Financial Clarity. So it is a great book for entrepreneurs, a very short guide. Give people, business owners, the ability to understand key questions that are important, such as succession planning, legacy planning, getting the IRS out of our pockets, right? Because do you like paying taxes?
I do not.
I don't think anybody likes paying taxes, right? That just makes sense. And then always talking about protection. And then the other thing from a business owner perspective, what is the biggest asset a business owner has? Probably their business itself, right? We need to make sure we understand what the value of that business is as well.
So this new book, I'm sure, is incredibly expensive, right? How much?
No, it's a free resource.
Oh, it's free.
We provide guidance, we provide education because we want to make sure people feel educated and understanding because sometimes you don't know what questions to ask, and we need to make sure we help arm people with information to ask the right question.
Reach out to Chris and Stacy today at SerenityWealthNow.com.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC.
Hey, it's Susie Moore. If new flooring makes you think hassle, think again, because Michael's Flooring is changing the game. For over 30 years, Michael's has been locally owned and trusted for quality, variety, and amazing service. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, laminate, luxury vinyl, or ceramic tile, their expert team makes installing new floors exciting, not stressful. That's why customers keep coming back. Visit Michael's Flooring at St. Peter's, Starting Prairie, Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloored.com. That's igotfloored.com.
John Bill Roofing reminds you we are in the stormy season, and that means if you have even the smallest leak in your roof, you could soon have a much bigger issue. Call the John Bill to make sure that your biggest investment is protected. That call can save you major dollars. If you do get hit during a storm, John Bill has a rapid response team. Call 1-800-NEW-ROOF. 1-800-NEW-ROOF. 1-800-NEW-ROOF, John Bill.
This is Larry Connor's commentary on News Talk STL.
I'm serving notice. This will be the last Larry Connor's USA commentary. I'm telling you before I tell station owners, but I'm done. No more Larry Connor's USA commentary from the St. Louis area. I'm moving everything to Evanston, Illinois, often considered the fourth wealthiest city in the Midwest. The city has to spend all federal dollars collected during the COVID pandemic by the end of this year. And currently, Evanston is giving more than 100 households at least $500 a month. But the city also has to pay out some residents $25,000. There is some fine print. You must be 55 or older. Oh, I think I can get a fake ID. But $25,000 will be going to some citizens. The program is supposed to help the truly desperate and poor, and I am all for helping them. But I just know scammers will be trying to collect some of that money. So I'm going to get my share. Oh, there is another piece of fine print. Not just being 55 or older, I must be black. If I can change my pronoun and gender, can I change my race and qualify? If not, I'll see you here tomorrow.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
All the information I need on the drive to work.
Mike Ferguson in the morning. I keep it on throughout the day, whether it's local, national, or something big that's happening overseas.
News, analysis, and opinion.
St. Louis is #1 for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
The Allman Report, sponsored by Window World, 800 Get Windows.
I try to discover a little something to make me sweeter. Oh, baby, refrain.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a fancy Friday here on the Allman Report, as every Friday is. It's the 3 Martini Lunch and Common Sense Radio, people. Thank you again to Shorty's for hosting News Talk STL and the great Vic Porcelli and Ken Williams. Did their show live from there. I stopped by, picked up a BLT, which I love because you talk about a fancy Friday, their BLT is just old school, simple, and delicious. So Natalie and I are going to see Ben Bankus tonight. Natalie wanted to go, so I figured out a way to go because they were sold out, but had to sweet talk my way in. But it'll be it'll be interesting to go with my 18-year-old daughter to see Ben Bankus. But she wanted to go. I've shown her clips of him before, and she knows who he is. So that'll be a trip. Exciting. Been trying to do a lot with Natalie. I've already, I'm taking her to go see Ed Sheeran in Chicago, and she actually turned down my invitation to go to the Indy 500. Well, it was Memorial Day, and there's a lot going on. There are a lot of graduation parties and stuff like that because she's graduating in 2 weeks. So, yeah, she's into open axle racing, like Formula, whatever the Indy 500 cars are. One day I came in and house, and she's watching the race. And I think she likes the European cars. So I don't know, is there a Formula? There's a different one there. But anyway, one time I don't remember what I did, but I never watched TV. And she was recording some race that was taking place it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, but it was, overseas. And I somehow erased it or something, and she was so mad at me. I don't know what I was doing. I can't remember what I did. Oh, so yeah, I might still go. Apparently the Indy 500's a blast. Kathleen Murphy, yes, happy birthday to Harry Truman. Indeed. Speaking of Natalie, I took Natalie when I went to see Ed Sheeran with her to Kansas City, and I took her, but I made her do 2 things. I will take you, and we'll go. We'll drop some coin on these tickets and do all that kind of thing, make all the arrangements, but you have to do 2 things with me. You have to go with me to the TWA Museum, which we did, and she kind of thought that was cool. One time I said, you should be a pilot. She's like, I'm not going to be a pilot. I'm like, okay. Anyway, took her to the TWA Museum, and that was great. That was before the concert. And the TWA Museum, by the way, in Kansas City is outstanding. It is awesome. And also on the way home, we had to go to Independence to stop by Harry Truman's library as well as his home, where his car is still in the garage. Like his old, I can't remember what it was. I don't know, Matador or something. It was still in the garage. It wasn't a Matador because they didn't have Matadors until the 70s. It's a Matador! What is that? It's a Matador! Remember the Matadors? Anyway, he's got some cool car in the garage there, and that was fun too. So we went ahead and did that. Kathleen, though, boy, a lot of you people out there are having some real challenges today. We've got Elizabeth Kayser over there in Germany with her luggage lost by the airline that took her over there. Kathleen Murphy went down to file some paperwork for something at the Harry Truman building in Jefferson City, and the building is closed today, she says, because it's Harry Truman's birthday. And I'm thinking to myself, why would you close the Harry Truman building on his birthday? Of all days, it should be open on his birthday. I have no idea why people do that when they close stuff that should actually be open in celebration of Harry Truman. I have no idea, The Harry Truman building in Hiroshima is probably still open. Anyway, look at me laughing about the atom bomb. Hey, it's a fancy Friday. Come on, leave me alone. I'm just having a little fun here. Remember back in the day when I was a little kid, there was a story And I can't remember what the story was, but I remember my mom reading it to me. And it was about a guy who went up onto a roof sucking lemons. And I guess the story really was about people who are crabby and can't enjoy anything and do whatever. And this guy, I'm sure if I Googled it, I didn't go to rehearsal, so I didn't Google it. But in preparation for a radio show, why would I do that, right? So anyway, it was a guy. But he was always sat up on a rooftop of a house or something, sucking lemons, because he was a sourpuss, as my mom used to call me if I was ever in a bad mood. You can believe that. I've been in bad moods before. Like when my mom took me and my sister and my brother and grandpa to the Land of Oz in Asheville, North Carolina, or someplace like that, and it was supposedly supposed to be in the summer, but it was like 40 degrees, foggy, and we were like 100,000 feet up on a mountain. I was a little crabby then. There are pictures of me being freezing cold and whatever. And I was actually smiling in one picture. I'll have to show you guys. I was smiling in one picture, but you know how like monkeys smile when they're in severe distress? That was what my smile was. It was a distressed, like screech monkey smile. Anyway, sourpuss. And so it was a cautionary tale about, don't be one of these kind of guys up on the rooftop sucking lemons. Unfortunately, we are in a society where we have an entire segment of our society that basically just sits on rooftops and sucks lemons. And that would be the news media. They have no sense of humor, no sense of any kind of joy about anything. Jake Tapper decided that he was going to kind of dissect Marco Rubio's press conference, and I don't know whether he was crabbing about it, but it was just kind of like, instead of having fun with the fact that Marco Rubio was quoting hip-hop lyrics, Jake Tapper decided to do one of these little videos where he's staring down into the camera. Did you see what he did?
Well, hardly the most important part of Secretary of State Rubio's comments about Iran. He did drop a few 90s hip-hop references that those of you who are not Gen X may have missed. First, talking about what the Iranian regime is doing to its own economy, he said this.
They should check themselves before they wreck themselves in the direction that they're going.
That is a reference to the 1992 Ice Cube song, Check Yourself, from his...
Can you believe this? That is, he's like dead serious. Instead of saying, wow, Marco Rubio was quoting 90s hip-hop, that's actually kind of cool, even for me, who is basically a born-bred crab.
His album, The Predator.
You better check yourself or you wreck yourself.
Then, at a different time, he was talking about...
look at how he's like, and that was from the album Predator. Check yourself. That was... Dude.
Then, at a different time, he was talking about the mental stability of the leaders of Iran. And he said this.
They're insane in the brain.
That is a reference to the 1993 Cypress Hill song, Insane in the Brain.
And and Insane in the Brain is a great song, by the way.
He might have music on his mind. We just saw this clip posted by White House official Dan Scavino of Secretary Rubio taking some time at a wedding to DJ. So perhaps there is music on his mind and his mind on his music.
And now I'm going to go and into my closet and hang myself, says Jake Tapper. Gee whiz, dude. Have a little fun with it at least. My goodness. And then look at this. This happened with ABC. So President Trump is running around to the reflecting pool at the Lincoln Memorial because they're trying to clean up the reflecting pool area and everything else. And what happens is he pulls the motorcade over, and then the press gaggle decides they're going to troll him over the fact that, there's a war going on. How are you concerned about the reflecting pool?
You know why? Because I want to keep our country beautiful and safe. Beautiful also. This place was a disgusting place.
I mean, this is great because this is actually really cool and says a lot about President Trump and his love of this country and the fact that he can multitask too. Yeah, I could be involved in this conflict with Iran, but I could also clean up all this crap that's coming out of the reflecting pool because we have a level of dignity and self-respect in this country. Maybe you don't, and he was savage on this one too.
Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, and we had a terrible discussion. I don't know, you probably don't see dirt, but I do. And you walk down this...
You probably don't see dirt. That is fantastic.
This pond, if you would have walked down, they'll tell you better than anybody. They had to take 11 or 12 truckloads of garbage out of that lake, out of that water, and it sat there for years like that. And that's not what our country is about. Our country is about beauty, cleanliness, safety, great people, not a filthy capital. And such a stupid...
Good for him. I mean, isn't that true? That those kinds of things are important. And you can tell just in the way that President Trump comports himself, the way he dresses, the way he presents himself to other people, and the way he treats other people as well in his midst who are decent people. And I love this kind of old school respect for the so-called little things.
Question you asked. We're fixing up the reflecting pond to the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Monument, and you say, why are you fixing it up? Because you can understand dirt maybe better than I can, but I don't allow it.
Yeah,
This
that's a
is
good
one
one.
of the worst reporters. She's with ABC Fake News, and she's a horror show. She's saying, why would you bother fixing this up? Why would I bother taking 11 or 12 truckloads of filth out of the water in front of the Lincoln Monument? That's what made our country great. Beauty made our country. People made our country great. A question like that is a disgrace to our country.
Good for him. I like it when he does this because it's important that people hear it. It'll never make the newscast.
If you're a gun owner, I guarantee you
it'll never make the newscasts or whatever. But at the same time, it's important to have somebody standing up for just decency and even just cleaning up beautiful things. I mean, I'm impressed. Good for him. A little respect. That's what it's all about, people, right? I like how he guy loves his country, and he just goes out on a motorcade spin to check on the cleanup operations of the reflecting pond. It's groovy as heck. An update on the data centers. Looks like Ferguson said no to the data center. We'll follow up on all of that with Elizabeth Kayser, who is going to be joining us live from Germany. It's the 3 Martini Lunch and a Fancy Friday, people.
News, analysis,
I'm glad you're talking about this.
opinion.
I'm glad you're fired up about it, too, because I know I am.
News Talk STL.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hanson's Tree Service. Today was a little bit of a blustery day as well. So you got to make sure, and man, we're going to get through May. I think we will, hopefully without a bunch of storms like we had last year. But the key is to make sure that your trees are healthy and that they can withstand these kinds of storms. But if your branches are all stressed out, if you're seeing some smaller branches landing on your lawn during windy days or storms or whatever, that's a sign that something isn't healthy up there. and deadwooding and pruning is definitely in order. And if you have any questions about your trees right now, I would see if Hanson's can take care of them before we get that late spring, early summer storm season. It can be pretty brutal here in St. Louis. On the fun side, there is the whole yard mulching, the Magic Bean composting mixture, which is really super cool. And you can order all of it, and they'll come and deliver it to your house. You can order all of it online, which is really super cool. And that's great because this Magic Bean is something I actually gave it the name Magic Bean way back in the day when the late, great Jeff Hansen was running the show and supporting my radio and Common Sense Radio. And this composting mixture, all you have to, like Dave MacArthur on the piggybacked on that, and because he grew sunflowers. And he would show these pictures of these gigantic sunflowers that were thanks to the Magic Bean, which is a composting mixture for your bushes, for your shrubs, for your flowers, for all those things that you have growing in your yard or you are growing in your yard. And, of course, the mulch, all different kinds of colors, all different kinds of cuts, really fabulous, healthy mulch. And you can order it online as well from Hanson's Tree Service, proud supporters of free, common sense conservative radio, hansonstree.com.
Want to work with a winner? Follow the multiplier. 279 times growth in total market cap in the past nearly 30 years. 50 times growth in client assets. And ranked the #1 wealth management firm for employee advisor satisfaction by J.D. Power 3 years in a row. Choose a winner. Choose Stifel, where success meets success. Stifel Nicholas & Company Incorporated. Member SIPC and NYSE. For J.D. Power 2025 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Tim Jones here to introduce you to your new favorite roofing company, Corel Roofing. There were 4 major storms last year. Did your roof take a hit? Do you even know? Most homeowner insurance policies require claims to be filed within 1 year, so time's running out for a closer look. At Corel Roofing Company, you get a local roofing specialist who will advocate for you every step of the way. Give yourself peace of mind. Schedule your roof inspection today with Corel Roofing at CorelRoofingCo.com. That's CorelRoofingCo.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Alan Link, owner of the Dental Link. You've heard ads about teeth in a day, but did you know that you will be chewing on plastic, acrylic teeth? Here at the Dental Link, we can give you porcelain crown and bridge teeth utilizing mini dental implants that function much more like real teeth at about half the cost. Plus, mini dental implants are less invasive, less painful, and your recovery time is much shorter. Give us a call at 314-794-6464 or simply visit us today at thedentallink.com.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
The House and Senate are on recess this week. We'll ask Congressman Bob Onder what he has been up to this week at 4:20.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL. The Allman Report, sponsored by Schneider's True Value.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's Common Sense Radio. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL. It is a fancy Friday. And we're going to get an update on some of these data centers, etc., from Elizabeth, if we can actually land her. She's over there in Germany. T.M. Harper, thank you for clarifying that. Yeah, it wasn't really just a turn down of the data center in Ferguson as much as it was a rejection of the tax breaks for it. So the bottom line is Ferguson saying if you want to build this, you're going to have to build it on your own. So that's just the bottom line, and a lot of people feel like that should be the way things go. Elizabeth Kayser, hi, welcome in to the Allman Report here. And first of all, before we get started on this kind of stuff, first of all, I think it's great that Lufthansa has basically a direct flight to Frankfurt from Lambert International Airport, but not so great when it loses your luggage, however.
You got that right. But I got to update you. I am ecstatic. I just got an email like 45 minutes ago. They found my luggage. The problem is by the time they get it to this hotel, we're going to be gone from this hotel. Then we're going to be in Hamburg. So we're going to have that luggage chase me wherever I go. I think I'm just going to say, you know what? Send it to my home in St. Louis, Missouri.
Yeah, because you already bought new clothes or something. How did you do? How are you managing that?
I did.
Oh, you did?
I did. Yes, I did. And one of my business partners actually is German, and she speaks beautiful English as well. So she helped me navigate the shops here. And, the rumor that there's a lot of English speaking in Germany, I don't think that's true. Maybe 10% speak English. The people that you meet that you really need to talk to, they're all German. But it's a beautiful city.
Oh, yeah.
It's called Leipzig is where we're at now.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Beautiful city.
So where'd they find your luggage then?
I don't know. The
Oh.
email was rather cryptic. It just said, good news, we found your luggage. Here's the button. Push here to update it, and we will send it to your hotel as soon as we can. That's pretty cryptic,
Yeah.
but at least they found it. So I'm pretty ecstatic.
Yeah, that means they found it somewhere stupid, and they don't want to admit. They don't want to admit it. All right, so let's get the full.
Well, that's true.
Let's get the full update on the data centers. I just told people because I had heard earlier in the week the city of Ferguson said no to the tax breaks, but not necessarily no to the data center, as long as the public isn't paying for it. So what is the latest on the data centers in our area?
Yeah, you're right on the tax breaks on Ferguson. That is very interesting. In fact, that's the same developer as what's going into Festus, too, just kind of a little bit of background there. And that's a much smaller project. It's only about $2 billion, where Festus is like $6 billion plus another $10 billion down the road. It's only about 1/3 of the real estate, too. It's only about 100 acres, just to kind of put everything in perspective. But you're absolutely right. The city said no to the tax abatement. They need the taxes. There has been, I know, some legal letters that have gone out and has threatened an injunction. And I believe that the same attorney is representing, of course, the people there in Ferguson, Stephen Jeffrey. But there has been a threat of an injunction if there's going to be any further work on trying to get any kind of tax abatement. But that's what it's over. It's, every one of these data centers, Jamie, it's interesting. It's over tax abatement, or it's over sunshine laws, or it's over annexation. And I think kind of segueing into Festus, there's not a whole lot to report on Festus, which is really the biggest media generating development of all, because everything's been paused by the litigation. So there is absolutely nothing going on there except for discovery. And because the attorney, Stephen Jeffrey, has grounded the petition in violation of sunshine laws, which is transparency, they will have access to all of the emails and all the texting to see if there's any violation in transparency there. But not a whole lot to report, except that there is a split on the city council now in Festus, so there is a really high probability of settling this case, or possibly just stopping the entire project, because they don't have the support of the council anymore, since the 4 members that were for the data center have been ousted. And then we segue into the Armory. We kind of take a tour here of the development. We could probably wrap it up pretty quick, but we go right into the Armory, which is really easy. I mean, it's kind of an example, too, of how easy things can be for developers. First of all, there's no environmental impact, because they're going to be, taking over some non-income producing property, which is the Armory, and some office space down there. And I think the mayor's done a pretty good job, because they have demanded a closed loop cooling system. So that's going to help with the water preservation. But what's really interesting about the Armory is that the developer has agreed to no tax abatement. So they're paying the taxes. They're paying the $27 million in the first year.
Oh, wow.
They're also getting, yeah. And that's a big deal. So just kind of an example of how these things can be negotiated. And it's such a wide spectrum of how these things can be negotiated to benefit the local community. They've also negotiated noise mitigation, which is important because they're right there in the city. And then you've got, let's go up north. Then you've got two places. You got Florissant and Ferguson. And Florissant, the whole thing's paused. So they've agreed on a 90-day moratorium, which means just basically a pause on everything so that they can say, time out, we're going to look at this rezoning. What's going on with this? And the people are saying, the zoning code is outdated. So we don't even want any zoning vote to be based upon the current zoning laws because the current zoning law is actually outdated because it didn't contemplate data centers. So we need to rewrite the zoning code. So that's interesting. And that's why they're asking for more than just 90-day pause. They want more pause than just 90 days so they can maybe revise the zoning code. So they're being very preemptive there, meaning that the same lawyer, Stephen Jeffrey, who is really making his mark, he has already sent cease and desist letters to the developer and threatening any kind of, an injunction to stop everything until this zoning code is updated. So they're being very, very preemptive there. And again, these are just uncharted waters, that we're seeing and lessons learned here every step of the way. Then you go into Ferguson, which is really not that far away from Florissant. And again, you've got the similar developer, you've got CRG. I think we've already talked a little bit about Ferguson here in the beginning, just a few minutes ago. So let me skip through that. Then we got Montgomery County. Again, now that's a little bigger footprint. That's a little company called Amazon Web Services. I'm being a little sarcastic there, but AWS, it's one of those tech titans. Tech titan, as we call it. And same lawyer, you got Stephen Jeffrey, he's making his mark there as well. Now that issue, Jamie, is totally different. That's over annexation. So he has filed a lawsuit based on that the annexation, in order to allow this development, was, legal words, arbitrary and capricious. In other words, not substantiated with good, evidence and certain environmental studies. He's just saying this was arbitrary and capricious. I don't believe he alleged violation of sunshine laws. So every case is different. The legal grounds in this petition is different. Well, the lower court ruled in favor of the data center, so he's appealed it. So that's up with the Missouri Court of Appeals now. And so everything is basically subject to the hearing of when the Missouri Court of Appeals is going to hear this case. Now, two other allegations in this petition is there's a big transmission line going in from, it's a very high voltage transmission line that has been built or in the process of being built all the way from Kansas City going east. And they're concerned that there's going to be a lot of tapping into that big transmission line by Amazon Web Services. And I'm sure that was one of the incentives and one of the, the magnets or attraction to Amazon Web Services is this huge high voltage transmission line that goes right through Montgomery County. And another concern there is the local water aquifer. And they're very concerned about the water supply, the capacity of this water aquifer. So again, every data center has different areas of contention, different concerns.
Yeah.
And it's pretty interesting. So that's kind of what's going on with that.
Yeah.
And then go ahead, Jamie.
Well, just because I only have a couple more minutes left with you, I wanted to get to the AI bill you've been working on with Joe Nicola. Representative Joe Nicola, how is that going? Is there going to be something done before the end of session on that?
Good.
Oh, okay.
We think so. I just heard from Joe, our Senator Joe Nicola. He just texted me, in fact, earlier. Yeah, Senator Joseph Nicola. Great guy. He just texted me, in fact, a few hours ago. He's always keeping me updated on what's happening to the bill. And he just told me it just passed the Senate 20-10. It has been referred to the Emerging Issues House Committee. And what's interesting about Senator Nicola, he has had a lot of obstacles. And what he's done for the past 2 weeks, he has negotiated with the White House to make sure that it's in line with the federal framework. And he just texted me, and I asked permission if I could put this on your show. He said, absolutely. But he also said that he's got a chance of getting this passed before session ends on May 15th, which I think is just next Friday.
And this is like a guardrail bill, right, for AI, or just aligning with federal guidelines regarding AI usage and all that stuff?
It's actually both. And
Okay.
you said it right, Jamie. It is a guardrail bill. It is a guardrail bill. But a little bit different strategy. He prioritized making sure that it aligned with the White House, because the White House has been giving notifications to our reps and our senators in Missouri and telling them that some of their bills are being a little questioned, that potentially could run afoul. And some of these reps are having to go back and renegotiate with the White House to align with the federal framework.
Well,
and so far, that's been pretty positive.
Yeah, well, that's great. I appreciate that. And maybe once you get back from Germany, you can update us, because it'll be the end of the session next week. So that's going to be very interesting to see how that goes. Maybe I could have you and the senator on together. I don't know. We could work that out. But I appreciate you joining us. Safe travels to you.
That'd be great.
And that's Elizabeth
you.
Kayser, Straight Lines with Elizabeth Kayser every Sunday here on News Talk, 8 o'clock. And that's Elizabeth Kayser with some fancy new German clothes that she's wearing now. So
Maybe you can go get my luggage at the airport, Lambert.
Okay.
If it's there. I don't know, Jamie.
I'll help
let
you out.
know.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, see you later, Elizabeth. Thank you so much. That's Elizabeth
right.
Kayser. And on this fancy Friday coming up, ladies and gents, the great Doug Giles. It's Common Sense Radio, and great news for the United States of America after elections in the UK. I'll have that for you.
Concerned about the condition of your windows driving up your energy bills? I was too. It's only called STL Windows and Doors. Call today for your free in-home estimate and start saving tomorrow. 314-277-5952 or stlwindowsanddoors.com.
Hi, it's Ken Williams, and my favorite Capriati sandwich is the Capistrami. You've got hot pastrami, melty Swiss cheese, crunchy coleslaw, and zesty Russian dressing. What else do you need? I love Capriati's, and you will too. On Manchester at McKnight and Rock Hill, and now in Creve Coeur on Olive, just 1 mile west of 270.
When the storm hits and a tree comes down, you need someone you can trust right now. OLI Outdoor Services in Godfrey is on call 24/7 for emergency tree removal, trimming, stump grinding, and land clearing. Serving Illinois and Missouri with licensed, insured professionals and over 200 years of combined experience. Tree removal starting at just $2.99. Free estimates, plus financing. Visit OLIOutdoorservices.com or call 1-888-5-SAWING.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefontaine, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Even as diplomatic efforts to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and end the war with Iran continue, there was more military confrontation reported on Thursday, and correspondent Ben Thomas has more.
The U.S. military says it intercepted Iranian attacks on 3 U.S. Navy ships Thursday as they transited the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump described the confrontation this way.
We took our 3 destroyers and we rammed them through some pretty big stuff today, and the destroyers weren't hurt in any way. The people weren't hurt, but they were firing at us, and we were firing back at them.
Central Command says U.S. forces then targeted Iranian military facilities responsible for the attack. Meanwhile, the president says the U.S. is still negotiating with Iran.
We're not going to give them the right to have a nuclear weapon.
Ben Thomas, Washington.
The U.S. is lifting its hold on immigration applications for doctors.
The Trump administration is again reviewing green card and visa applications for doctors from 36 countries it considers high risk. That means physicians whose cases have been paused for months could soon get them renewed. But scientific researchers and other professionals from countries including Iran, Venezuela, and Afghanistan say their immigration applications still won't be reviewed. The Trump administration put a pause on applications from those countries, citing a need to improve security screening. Some immigrants have filed lawsuits trying to get immigration officials to decide their cases. I'm Mike Hempen.
This week's victories in GOP primaries in a number of states, bolstering House Speaker Mike Johnson's belief that this fall's election outlook remains positive for Republicans. Speaker Johnson predicts his party will defy the conventional view that the party controlling the White House often loses seats in Congress in the midterms. More from townhall.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-0141. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-583-0141. That's 800-583-0141. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Business owners, download your free playbook for financial clarity at SerenityWealthBiz.com. That's SerenityWealthBiz.com. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Hit and miss showers will turn into a few thunderstorms by late this afternoon, and some of those storms west of St. Louis could be strong with some small hail or gusty winds. We are looking for most of that rain to move out overnight, and lows in the 50s. Saturday looks gorgeous with a high near 80 and sunny skies, but it looks like a few more scattered showers on Mother's Day, but lots of dry time in between. In the First Alert Weather Center, I'm KMOV meteorologist Kent Earhart.
Looking for a hardware store that treats you like family? Welcome to True Value Schneider's Hardware, your local gem in Old Town St. Peters. For over 100 years, we're proudly serve you St. Charles County, providing everything from lawn and garden supplies to plumbing and electrical. Need a bolt or fastener? We've got you covered. And don't forget, we're a steel dealership. Whether you need sales, parts, or service, ask for Charlie or Jerry when you come in. We're here to help. Call 636-278-4461 or visit us online at truevalue.com/Schneiders.
The Laborers International Union of North America, Local 110, was formed in 1933 and from the beginning has strived for progress and the well-being of others. The laborers of Local 110 are hardworking men and women who take pride in their great work. They are the fastest-growing union of construction workers and one of the most effective unions representing plants and quarries. Laborers Local 110 has the best medical benefits, pension, education, and heavy construction training in the market. Visit lu110.com and start your future today.
When insurance companies know you're represented by Under Law, they know Under is not going to let you be pushed around. Their reputation is built on years of courtroom battles. If you suffer an injury or damage to your property, serve the insurance company notice you have Under Law on your side. A St. Louis firm you can trust to protect you at every term. Don't settle for less. You want to win? Believe me, Under wins. Under, O-N-D-R, underlaw.com.
Why has Steph's Pizza become the place to go for St. Louis-style pizza, appetizers, salads, and pastas? One taste and you'll know. Dine-in, pickup, delivery, even DoorDash. Locally owned and operated with legendary pizza and a new location in Lake St. Louis at 111 Palm Fort Trail. In St. Peters, St. Charles, and the original Stephanitas in O'Fallon on Veterans Memorial Parkway. Steph's Pizza is proud to be part of the News Talk STL family. Check them out at stephspizza.com. And remember, tonight's a good night for Steph's Pizza.
This is Mark Harder with RE/MAX Results, the #1 RE/MAX franchise in the region. As a licensed real estate broker with RE/MAX Results for over 20 years, I've seen the ups and downs of many real estate markets, including the one we're in right now. With the spring market in full swing, now is the time to leap into the buying or selling of your home. Someday is not a day. Today is the day to make your move. Call me at 314-852-8933 or email me at markhardersells@gmail.com.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk. Live and local.
I need to know what's going on in my city.
News Talk STL.
Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Fancy Friday to all of you and yours. This is Common Sense Radio, and the headline at Red State is entirely accurate and should make us feel good about the future midterms and beyond, because the headline says the left got absolutely destroyed in Thursday's UK elections, but who won is even better news, and of course it would be the Reform Party, a bunch of really super, well, they're common sense conservatives. And my feeling is, I said this earlier, that, listen, if the UK can do this, and that is just discard the left like trash, we certainly can do it here in the United States of America. I mean, those people have a king. All right, ladies and gentlemen, great to reconnect now with the great Doug Giles. There you go, ClashDaily.com and DougGiles.org. Doug Giles, what's up, man? How you doing?
Kicking ass, big dog. How are you, Jamie?
As always, I know you are, man. I'm not quite sure exactly. You and I sometimes just don't do rehearsals. We just kind of go on the air and talk with each other, not knowing what we're going to maybe even be talking about. But I do think those elections, I know you and I don't really talk about international stuff a whole lot, but I think that's good news. I was glad to see that. I didn't think it was going to happen.
Yeah, I don't follow anything British except for their exquisite double rifles and their shotguns. But the thing that I'm concerned about, just hearing your opening salvo, is MAGA split, man. There's a big divide on the right, and and a lot of it is, and I hate to bring this up because I did it last time I was on your show. A lot of it is the war in Iran.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's, Israel first instead of America first, and that's not what we were sold. And as I watch what's going down over there, it just looks like, I don't know how we're going to, extricate ourselves, from that equation without a ton of mud on our face. And again, one of the main reasons I voted for Trump and painted 57 different portraits of him, all bestsellers, sold a ton of prints, is I believed him when he said, no foreign wars, no Middle Eastern entanglements. Well, that's an entanglement, and they're, I don't know if you're seeing what's going on, but they're taking some huge hits, and a lot of young people, 30 and under, are just completely bailing. And they were the turning point crowd primarily that Charlie ginned up and pointed them in the right direction. That feel like that here we go again. We got screwed by another politician.
Yeah,
so I don't know if it's going to be. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people. I think it's going to be a lot of people on the independent end. But I have talked to people, I have to tell you, who are big time Trump supporters, who are like, okay, so this happened, but it's gotta end soon. This has to be over, and maybe at that point there would be some type of salvaging of some of the bad feelings that you're pointing out.
Do that. Yeah, and if they again, why did we do this? Why? I mean, Netanyahu's been telling us, since 1996. I believe that's the first time I recall, and then it's like every other year that they're 2 weeks away from developing a nuclear weapon. And it's a trope, man. It's again, I don't believe that at all, and it's because of Operation Midnight Hammer. When I was told, and I'm a writer, so I pay attention to words and stuff. When we were told that their nuclear capabilities, their enriched uranium, were obliterated, and it's like, well, that means they don't exist anymore. And then fast forward 10 months later into February, we got to go get their enriched uranium. I thought that was obliterated. So I don't know, man. I know that freaking gas, and I know we talked about the gas last time. I'm repeating myself. I'm getting old, Jamie, but, just went to get my hair cut today. I'm looking spiffy, big dog. and freaking $4.30 a gallon.
Yeah, I think that's where I think a lot of people are feeling the heat. But I'm also seeing polls, though, Doug. I mean, I realize that I think among some people in the commentariat, and I do believe that there are certain people out there also in the wild who have lost some of their love. But if you look at the polling numbers, I mean, I just saw Harry Enton over at CNN again. He's the guy who often turns the CNN anchors ashen-faced with his numbers. He's pointing out that support for Donald Trump among Republicans, and now I don't know what it's like with independents, but it has been strong in the past, is still at 84%. And that's a percentage higher, give or take, obviously, the margin of error, than it was like even in 2018 when things were actually, if you look at the way things were going, a lot better economically and everything else in terms of gas prices, that kind of thing. So, I don't know how long, when what you're talking about, whether that actually is going to take some time for the numbers to reflect some disappointment, or whether people are just still standing and hanging in there, buying the administration's explanation, which is something I do, which is this is a foreign entanglement to end foreign entanglements. This is a foreign entanglement to end 47 years of foreign entanglements. Iran. I'll never forget when we were oil independent back even in 2018, Iran bombed Saudi Arabia's oil fields, and we didn't do anything about it. We didn't have to. Where in the past, we probably would have sent troops over there. So, it just depends on how long people are. I think right now it's a matter of not people who have who are off the train, but I think people who are just kind of hanging on and just wanting to see some resolution here quickly.
Yeah. Let's talk about UFOs.
Well, by the way, I was really definitely disappointed. I don't know what I saw this dump, and I'm thinking, dude, remember back in the 70s when people used to throw trash cans up in the air and take pictures of them?
Right, my brother threw a trash can up in the air, Polaroid snapshot, and it made it on the front page of the Lubbock Avalanche Journal.
That's awesome, man. The trash can lid, that's amazing.
Yep, skirting right over the top of homes, and the way that he took it from the angle down low, so it freaking looked incredible, and the doofuses. At the Avalanche Journal's like, hell yeah, man, we got us a UFO.
Oh.
I saw a UFO. Kid you not. Have we talked about this before?
No.
Again, I'm slipping, man. So this was pre-Christ Doug days, so doing a lot of drugs. And my buddy Jeff Cornett comes to my house. We load up in my Z28. So we're driving over to the ATO Lodge, which my brother's the president of. And from my house to the ATO Lodge is about a 3-mile drive, going through this beautiful neighborhood. And this frickin' disc, huge disc-like shape, comes hovering right above the treetops, which Lubbock doesn't have huge trees, obviously. And so Jeff and we're high, so full admission, smoking some red-haired scents. We get out of my Z, and we stand there, and we're looking at this thing right above us. It's making no noise at all, and it's massive, and it's got lights all over the bottom of it. And so we're up there, just gawking at it and stuff, and it's watching us, watching it, and then it just silently just moves off to the right. And so fast forward about 30 years with the advent of Facebook, I haven't talked to Jeff since, the UFO pretty much. And although he did marry one of my ex-girlfriends. But so Jeff friend requests me on Facebook, and the first thing I ask him is like, dude, how you been? Number 2, do you remember the UFO? And he's like, blank, yeah, man. He said, I tell people about that all the time. Now, Reese Air Force Base used to operate during that time period, and it was about 10 miles outside of town. But I don't know what it was. It sure wasn't a frickin' airplane or helicopter and it was massive. I would say it was probably, I don't know, 50, 60 yards wide in disc shape.
Wow.
And it made no noise. I mean,
that's great. You know, maybe it was another trash can lid. You never know, dude. You guys started that. Hey, but you know, here's the thing. So we got the video. We got some of these videos, and either it's looks like it's basically space debris that the astronauts are seeing outside of their windows. Although they did see a big light show, but that doesn't seem like abnormal to me in space.
Right.
Then, of course, you see these things over Iraq and the UAE. There's never anything like in the United States of America, which I thought we were going to be seeing something about that. It reminds me of like back in the day with the supermarket tabloids, and you remember Bat Boy, and every time they had somebody like or you know, an alligator with a human face, and then it was always like in Nigeria or something. You know, it was never anything that you could actually see yourself. And so I'm kind of like, well, what is this? And then I sent you that article because I talked about this yesterday. There was a bunch of these pastors who were saying they were briefed by U.S. intelligence people to prepare for their congregations to start questioning the Bible and creation theory after we discover more galaxies. I'm thinking, what is that all about?
Yeah, I don't get the hysteria either. And Jimmy, I hope that there's life on other planets and other galaxies, because I'm running out of people to hate down here.
I know, man.
Here's another weird thing is that every time the UFOs crash and there's some kind of alien interaction, you know, with humans, it's always in Mississippi. It's always a trailer house, and they're always doing anal probes. And I would like to tell all the aliens out there, there's nothing in our backside that's going to save your dying planet, okay?
Yeah. Dude, I can't, you know, and plus there's this assumption somehow that the aliens are all somehow, they all like kind of look like humans, except they've just got big eyes or whatever, or pointy ears. And it's kind of so weird that people think that some alien life would just be another form of a human. I know that's human of us to do that, but to me, I think, you know, there probably is life, and we might not even recognize it if we saw it.
Yeah, the thing that I'm asking with the release of the UFO files is, are we being diverted from looking at something really, truly significant? Is this another, here's a shiny object, let's talk about this and not talk about something else? Because it just seems like I wish here's what I wish today, Jamie. I wish they would release the Epstein files, and so that we could truly see and know all of them, not a portion heavily redacted. Let's find out who are pedophiles, who raped young girls, who's living the high life, who's in the Epstein, you know, class, society, and circle. I want to see those files. Just like, again, and I hate to be the broken record, Jamie, and you're never going to call me again probably after this interview.
No, man.
That's what we were promised. We weren't promised UFO files. I don't care. I don't think it's going to hurt my faith. If it hurts, if that derails a Christian,
yeah,
they can't believe in Jesus any longer. Well, you didn't have much of a faith to begin with.
No doubt.
And so that's, you know, UFO files, passe. I'm not going to, as soon as we finish talking about it, I ain't going to talk about it ever again. And I want the real files. Show me that stuff.
Yeah, because it kind of seems to me like it's more like Al Capone's vault. I mean, there's nothing to see here. And it's just a bunch of, oh, look, there's a 20-second video of something flying over Iraq. Right. It's like, okay. But you know, here's the thing. Not only with the Epstein files, I know that I would still like to see the list of people, of Congress people who have had to dip in to the slush fund to pay off sex abuse or harassment allegations. Nancy Mace, I don't know why she did this. She kind of gave us like 8 names. Look, I found 8 names of people. I'm like, well, I could read that in the newspaper. I knew all about Conyers and all about those people already. So I don't know why they're hiding that too. That shouldn't actually even be something that Congress is allowed to vote on. It ought to be something that's mandated to be released. I think, maybe Trump should do it, but I don't know. I'm just saying I'd like to see that list too.
Yeah, it's again, just, and I hate this because your people probably think, who's this never Trumper? I wasn't. I was biggest cheerleader. I wrote a book, 400 pages, called "Would Jesus Vote for Trump?" Did all the Trump paintings. I just wish we would get what we were promised.
No,
I don't want, from a political standpoint, to be so beholden to somebody that I can't question what they're doing. You know what I mean?
Well,
It's
Doug, listen, you've been with my show long enough that people understand completely how you have supported President Trump. I mean, almost to the point where more than most other people, even who were supportive of President Trump. I mean, we talk about all your paintings and your books and all that kind of stuff. So what I'm saying is, I think my people and our people, which would be a better version of it, I think our people, you have probably more credibility when you have a problem with what's going on than other people do out there in the commentariat. So I wouldn't worry about that at all.
Yeah, I'm not worried. It's just, it's not a great place to be, and it ain't my fault. I don't think our country should be Israel first. And I'm not an anti-Semite. I lived in Miami 20 years. Got tons of Jewish friends. My oldest daughter is married to a Jewish man who's now a Christian. So you can't put that sticker on me. I want America first, America only. And we got so much crap that we need to fix here. It's insane. And to jump into, a war that's been going on between Israel and Muslims for millennia, I think it's nutty, and it's ridiculously expensive, and it's a war of choice. And I don't think, from a biblical standpoint, that you can say that's a just war. They didn't attack us, It's like, well, they would have, and they could. It's like, again, you've been telling us that, BB, for frickin' 30 years.
Well,
and,
I'll have to.
I don't know what happened.
I would like to see ultimately. If I'm trying to figure out if people do believe that this is all about Israel, what would be the motivation of President Trump to put Israel first? I mean, it's not like he.
Yeah, exactly. Which is that. That just extended our interview for like 55 minutes. Yeah, why do something like that? That's a great question.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd do something like that.
I'd like to know if that's the case somehow. I'd like to know what payoff could it possibly give President Trump, who, himself has been called an anti-Semite, and a Nazi and all that kind of stuff. I'm trying to figure out what kind of payoff that would be for President Trump, professionally or personally, to actually think that way.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, it's nefarious, and that rabbit hole is deep. And that question that you just parlayed is one that needs to be investigated, because he flipped. He completely flipped. I mean, I ain't doing it. I'm not going to listen to you, Netanyahu. And then the next thing you know, here we are.
Yeah. Well,
Listen, I mean, the Persian Empire is huge. It's ancient. It's some rough terrain, and we're talking about people who are serious, the Shiites, about their faith. We might think we're going to get out in a week, and they might decide that they're going to keep this party going for a long time. And,
well, they do have patience.
Thanks to Biden, look how many millions of people are in here, and how many of those are sympathetic to the Iranian cause.
Yeah, prehistorics live by decades or even centuries. They don't live by days, so that is a concern.
That's how Islam and the Chinese Communist Party, they think in millennia. We don't think past frickin' lunch. Like, we're going to get in and we're going to get out. It's like, says who?
Yeah,
you can smash their navy, you can smash their PT boats, but man, you can't smash that ideology.
Yeah.
And you just piss them all off.
Well, some of them. I mean, there's still a bunch of people out there who are not they're just your normal, average, everyday Persians who are, wearing nice American clothes and doing that kind of thing. And I think that those are the people, hopefully, that will wind up winning out. All right, Doug. Well, listen, man, good talking to you. Have a great rest of your weekend, and thanks for being on, buddy.
Right on. Cheers.
Okay, you too. Yeah. So my point in asking what President Trump's, if it's true, as some people are saying, that somehow the Trump administration is putting Israel first, I want to know what the motivation would be. And when someone says that's a good question, my point is that since nobody knows, it's probably an indication that he's not doing this for Israel. I mean, unless you can give me some hard evidence that Israel, like there's something going on, because I mean, I don't see it. But it's interesting. Some of the people who think that we're putting Israel first haven't actually proven anything as it relates to why President Trump would put Israel first. And so my assumption would be that he's not. But I don't know. It's all confusing. But at least the good news is Mark Hamill, who put up a picture of a dead Trump, like in a grave, Hollywood isn't even happy with it. So we'll follow up on that, and I'll give you the skinny on these UK elections. And the news media thought it had a thing with ICE raiding a Disney cruise, but alas, they did not. All that's coming up this Fancy Friday. It's Common Sense Radio.
I think we should be able to have a civil conversation.
The news and talk that matters to St. Louis.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity.
News Talk STL.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gemini Wealth Group, I want to tell you about the retirement permission slip. So Jeff and the gang have told me that one of the things that really in the end happens for a lot of people, because, your retirement age, but you're still working, you're still healthy, everything's great. And so you're like, why would I give up a paycheck purposely when I really don't have to? And maybe, whatever. But the reality is there's part of you that says, yeah, but I really want to enjoy my life without having that daily schedule, the daily grind. And I want to enjoy life while I'm healthy also, right? You don't want to sit there and work all your life, and then you're 75 and you're sick and you can't even enjoy anything that you've built over the years. So what the Gemini Wealth Group will do is they'll give you that permission slip to retire. They'll assess, and these are people with more than 100 years combined experience in investing, in portfolio management, all that kind of stuff. You get 5 of them who are working for you. And so what they do is they craft a plan that's going to allow you to live off of your dividends and never even touch the main part of your particular portfolio. And eventually you might, but, maybe 20, 30 years down the line. And then also, like, what do you dream about? What do you want to do? How do you want to live? Where do you want to live? What's going to be the cost of living there? What's going to be the cost of your health care? What's going to be the cost of your travel? Like, you might want to go and see the world, right? Well, we'll make arrangements for that. Maybe you want to help your grandkids out with a brand new house, or help them pay for their college or whatever it happens to be. They can help you with that too. And then suddenly, boom, you get that permission slip and you walk out the door to your golden years with the Gemini Wealth Group. The GeminiWealthGroup.com, the GeminiWealthGroup.com.
Are you tired of hard chlorinated water drying your skin out, tasting bad, and ruining your fixtures? Jones Air and Water Treatment has a solution to this pollution. Our Hydratech H2O leaves you with great tasting, soft water at all fixtures in your home with one unit. Call Jones Air and Water at 636-899-1040 or visit us on the web at joneswater.com. You can be a filter or buy a filter. Jones Air and Water, 636-899-1040 or joneswater.com on the web. Call us now.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Wherever I'm at, home, car, wherever.
Download the all-new News Talk STL app.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Just the convenience on the phone.
Streaming live on the mobile app.
Love the new app.
And listen anytime.
Everywhere.
Anywhere.
The Allman Report, sponsored by Grasser Home Services.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Common Sense Radio. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL. Jamie Allman here in Ashland over there. I don't know why Joey V came into the studio in a hazard suit. Can you believe that? Like he's got a hazardous chemical suit on. He's working on the computer to try to get the picture going for those of you on Facebook and Rumble. I don't know why he's wearing a hazard suit. Probably because he thinks that the hantavirus is the next COVID, and he's going to be prepared one way or the other. We're going to sit here and watch our faces melt off. Did you hear that? That's what people are saying, though, by the way, that this is the next COVID, and it's the first human-to-human transmission. It's like, okay, shut up. We're not listening to you anymore. And the bottom line is we've been there, done that, and the whole COVID lie was crazy. There's a person, and I should put the there's a guy named who does a Substack thing called Holden Court, and it's a really cool thing. And this is all about COVID. So he's doing a COVID autopsy, and it is incredible the quickness with which the change happened from don't wear a mask. If you're not sick, you don't need a mask. And I'm talking about it was in February of 2020. And then by the time March came around, the legacy media and everybody, it was all masks all the time. It was crazy. So just the trajectory of it all and the lies and everything else that happened, incredible. And I'm really looking forward to this because unlike people say, oh, stop talking about the 2020 election, blah, 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 blah. But the COVID thing has got to be unpacked. The COVID thing has got to be reinvestigated and absolutely reviewed and dissected, and the autopsy is needed. And we're running out of time to indict the likes of Fauci or these people, but one of his aides is indicted, so we're getting close. But the fact of the matter is, this was we should treat it as if it was a terror attack, and then we sit there and re-prosecute exactly how it happened, what were the motivations, and everything else. Because I'm not done with this yet. You know, I'm not done with this yet. I mean, it's kind of like I'm still bitter over the Revolutionary War and the British Crown and everything else. I'm not done with this yet, and I want to see some answers. So, because too many people were affected by it, too many people had were destroyed by it, businesses destroyed, people destroyed, everything, and people were fired, all that kind of stuff. Something needs to happen. I'll never forget, because I want to really know this, because I remember, and it was specifically Channel 4, or nothing against Channel 4. I worked there for a ton of years. I, have a special place in my heart for Channel 4. But I'll never forget, during COVID, Channel 4 was doing like a promo. Like they did a promo, and they had all their anchors and stuff. It was weird, too, because they were like all kind of flying through the sky or whatever. But they showed totally empty streets in downtown St. Louis. All these empty streets. It looked like a ghost town. And they said, "We're proud of you, St. Louis. Way to go." I'm like, wow. Why would you do that? How is that a victory in any way, shape, or form? And I remember saying at the time, because I had my own, he was on the air, all that kind of stuff. I remember saying at the time, I'm like, just wait. Because you do realize that these people have advertisers. And that's the one thing that advertisers hate to hear, right? When they're putting money into your station or into your product, you're telling people to never leave their houses. If I'm spending money on your radio station to advertise my wares, I'm not spending money on your TV station anymore to advertise when you guys are telling everybody not to go out. Because what happens when nobody goes out is nobody comes into my store or my restaurant or my car dealership or whatever it happens to be. So invariably what happened, I knew this was going to happen. You don't have to be intelligent to know this is going to happen. So these people stopped advertising. I'm not going to advertise on a station telling everybody not to leave their houses and go to my place. So I'm not going to advertise anymore. So guess what happened? Steve Savard, all these other people wound up getting let go because they couldn't afford. They laid off a bunch of people as a result of all that. So it changed the lives of people. Steve Savard's a really great guy and may even take over for Mike Bush when he retires over at Channel 5. There was no reason for Steve Savard, of all people, to be let go, but it was money. And it was because they spent so much time, maybe not Steve Savard, because his mother used to listen to my show, so I know where Steve Savard is a little bit. Don't want to put words in his mouth, but it probably wasn't as much Steve, but all the other people who were sitting there drum beating this COVID craziness. And so that's really, in the end, how it all went down. And it cost people their jobs. I'm just telling you. All right. This began with the hantavirus on a cruise ship. By the way, keep in mind, when the news media or some other people start calling this something else, because remember when first it was coronavirus, whatever, then it was like COVID-17, remember? Or whatever it was. When they start renaming it, that's when you need to kind of start to question. But I'm telling you what, it's not going to happen again. What was it? Oh, yeah. What does it say? What does it say, Ashton?
So it's a little chart, and it says the hantavirus, and then it basically goes down like 7 or 8 other viruses that they're predicting is going to come from.
The hantavirus, of course, yeah. I'm telling you what, I'm never going to wear a mask, ever. Just so you know, and nobody else will either. I'm not going to get your vaccines. And also, don't forget, this whole thing began with that lie about it coming from bat soup. I mean, come on. I mean, it reminded me of the lie when Obama talked about that. It's like, about the YouTube video caused the Benghazi problem. It's like, no, it didn't. It's crazy. Speaking of Barack Obama, do you guys have any concept? Because I know everybody's like, oh, I don't want to really talk bad about Obama because blah, 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 blah. And do you realize what a bad person Barack Obama is? And what an embarrassment it is that our first black president is actually a criminal on top of probably being a racist. And that Barack Obama was the one who invented the Russia hoax, or at least oversaw the whole Russia hoax thing, and the lies and the FBI. Barack Obama ought to be in prison instead of in a library with his newfound little puppet, Stephen Colbert.
And now, joining President Barack Obama for a walkthrough of the Obama Presidential Center.
The Obama Presidential Center houses a museum dedicated to the president's legacy.
Listen to this. Gee whiz. I mean, unbelievable.
Its 4 levels showcase artifacts from his political and personal life. And my friend, Barack, was nice enough to give me a tour.
It's an incredible space, and I'm curious, what do you want people to take away from the Obama Center Museum?
How is Stephen Colbert in any way, shape, or form proud of being this ape for Barack Obama. How is that something that he could possibly think is a good idea or a good look for him? So Kevin Farley, the comedian, was on with Vic and Ken today, and he said something, and that's Chris Farley's brother. He's in town for some shows this week. A couple conservative comedians, Ben Bankus and Kevin Farley. Anyway, he said something that really was insightful and interesting to me when they were talking about Stephen Colbert. And he said, kind of dismissed Stephen Colbert, and rightly so, and said, yeah, he's just a second city guy. He's not like, Johnny Carson he's just a second city guy. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I mean, he used to be Jon Stewart's monkey, basically, and actually was pretty good at what he did. But the idea that he could be in any way, shape, or form a high-caliber late-night talk show host, a la even David Letterman, who was liberal, but you didn't find that out until the end. I mean, those guys are pros. Johnny Carson, David Letterman, these kinds of folks. And the reality is Stephen Colbert is just like a B-team second city guy. And when you realize that, you're thinking, man, yeah, he really lucked out. There's no reason at all why he ought to be doing that late night show. Anyway, Molly Hemingway, when she was on with Stuart Varney, she really just dropped Obama badly. Great.
It's actually reprehensible commentary from the man who instigated the Russia collusion hoax.
This is in reference to Barack Obama. I played the soundbite for you yesterday, where he talked about, I'm worried about the Republican Party and its adherence to the rule of law.
Most horrific things to ever be perpetrated on the country. He refused to accept his loss, and so he orchestrated this entire effort to run a coup against the incoming president. It caused so much trouble. There were so many people put in prison, political opponents, and it was all based on something he himself knew was a lie. I am glad that people like Ron DeSantis and Senator Eric Schmidt and Ari Fleischer and just a wide variety of Republican voices have condemned this lying from this former president. He did so much to destroy rule of law. Holding people accountable for what they did to the country is not lawfare. It's simply justice. And people of all types need to speak out against what he did and how much he destroyed the FBI, the DOJ, our intelligence agencies, and our whole conception of accepting elections when you lose. And I know he's sad that his party lost in 2016, but that's no excuse for the real destruction he wrought on the country.
Yeah. Other than that, Barack, enjoy your library, you fascist pig. Man, he is skating scot-free from any accountability for any of this. Oh, Lordy. It's Common Sense Radio. It's the Allman Report. And by the way, people, let me tell you something. I will break down that UK election. I know that a lot of times we don't pay attention to what the Eurotrash are all up to, but this is a good thing. This is a good thing because I think it bodes very, very well for our future. And again, speaking of cruises with the hantavirus, well, ICE raided a Disney cruise and the news media completely got the story wrong. We'll follow up on that too. Happy Friday, everybody.
This is what's happening.
I don't like to let these sick people, these thugs, these horrible, horrible people change the fabric of our life, change the course of what we do.
101.9 and 94.1.
Number one for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
Looking to pick up something pretty, little, whatever it happens to be for the mom in your life? Well, Newsteaders Fine Jewelry absolutely has it all for you. And Diana and Teresa and Anna and Cindy are all there with their feminine magic at the jewelry store. God is welcome here is right above the door. WowDiamonds.com is the website. So whether it be the mine diamonds or the lab-grown diamonds that you all are going to want to enjoy, I'm talking about for maybe bigger things like engagements or weddings or whatever else. They have the beautiful diamond sets there. Diamond earrings, too, if you want to be playful about it with Mother's Day or what have you. They've got great stuff there. The stacker rings, Diana loves to talk about, and they're really very cool because they have the versatility with your wardrobe. You can buy like 3 at a time, maybe 2 at a time, whatever, and mix and match them. You can wear them singularly or all together, and they're beautiful. They also have, of course, some beautiful ruby and sapphire jewelry for you as well. Gold, which is back in these days, and it's priced really well at Newstetter's Fine Jewelry. I know people think gold is more expensive than it's been before, but not with Newstetter's Fine Jewelry. And, of course, going into May and then even into June, they've got for the guys, for Father's Day, the Frank Sinatra Bulova watch and all the other sporty Bulova watches for you as well. And then, of course, we also have confirmations coming up, all kinds of things that are really cool, that they have some beautiful things that you can do and put together. I did and was so happy. Diana did this for Lily when we got back from Cabo. I had grabbed a seashell off the beach for Lily that had a little hole in it from when whatever invaded that thing and sucked whatever it was out of there. It already had a hole. I said, this will make a really cool necklace. And guess what? Diana made a beautiful necklace for me to give to Lily. So they can do anything with anything special that you happen to have, or reimagining, for instance, grandma's rings or jewelry or whatever. They can do that for you as well. It's Newstetter's Fine Jewelry, Doherty Ferry and Big Bend. WowDiamonds.com.
Tony Colombo here for Gutter Pros and Exteriors, your all-in-one service team that brings years of experience and quality that's affordable right to your doorstep. Christine and I discovered Gutter Pros and Exteriors when we bought our home and inherited a gutter problem. And they've also repaired siding damage on our home because along with gutter repair, gutter installation, and leaf protection, the Gutter Pros team are also the best for repairing other exterior damage, including fascia, soffit, and all siding repair and installation. Learn about all the ways Gutter Pros and Exteriors can help your home or business right now at gutterpros.com.
On the next
Larry Connors USA.
The story behind Ted Turner. Like him, hate him, he changed the world of broadcasting.
Larry Connors USA. Now weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL. The Allman Report, sponsored by Stars Gourmet Food and Wine Shop.
So the Democrats are all absolutely melting down over the Virginia Supreme Court ruling, just basically sending their gerrymandering attempt right to hell. And they're all flipping out. I mean, they're going nuts. You saw what happened down in Tennessee, too. They're all going crazy because they know they're losing their hold on cheating and stealing elections. And they no longer can use an illegal rapist as a voter for their party. They can't do that anymore. They're very disappointed by that. And we're not doing the mail-in balloting and everything else anymore. So they're losing a big voting block in terms of illegal alien rapists. And they are not doing the mail-in voting anymore to any extent. So we're not going to have the boxes over there so that some big-butted woman can carry a big old trash bag full of ballots and stuff them in there, as we saw on the video all the time. So they can't do that anymore. And so their ability to actually steal elections is gradually diminishing. And, of course, in terms of also stealing success, which is what gerrymandering is what they wanted in terms of adding more Congress people, doing that kind of thing, is what the process that they did, which, of course, they can't do anything that has any kind of ethical or legal bearing, and they always have to have it shoved down their throats by a court or this, and they're going crazy. I mean, they are going nuts, and they're screaming and yelling, and Hakeem Jeffries is out there getting all haughty, and maybe he'll be doing a pose with a baseball bat. They're having people indicted over there in Virginia. They have their offices being raided by the FBI. It's all falling apart. I'm very, very confident in the midterms. We saw what happened, of course, in Indiana, and I know Karl Rove is a little pissy about it, but the fact of the matter is these rhino Republicans who didn't support their own redistricting that was taking place in Indiana, every single one of them lost their primaries. President Trump's sway is huge, and I know Doug Giles was, obviously feeling a certain way about things, but the reality is President Trump's endorsements all work. 84% of the Republican Party still support him, and by the time the midterms roll around, we're not going to have $4 gas. So, and they know, and the left knows it too. They're going crazy, and it's getting worse for them also. Even if you go over to the very liberal United Kingdom, I mean, keep in mind this is a country that if you even so much as stand on the street and sing "God Save the Queen," they might even arrest you because it's offensive to Muslims. I mean, that place is as backwards as it gets as it relates to some of their laws, as it relates to freedom of speech and everything else. But the fact of the matter is the UK is finally coming around to a significant level of common sense. And to me, if this can happen in the United Kingdom, this sure as heck can happen in the United States of America. The ruling Labor Party, absolutely destroyed in local council elections and everything else. Votes still being tallied, but the Labor Party could see a loss of more than 1,500 seats. Keir Starmer and company absolutely took a complete and total bath. And the people who did the most in terms of reaching success and everything else was the Reform Party. And you guys know that Nigel Farage, who's an absolute and total conservative out there, but for a while there didn't get a whole lot of muscle in terms of electoral success, whatever. Nigel Farage is now the head of Britain's most popular party. So this Reform UK is considered to be a right-wing populist party. It basically would be akin to MAGA here, whatever, whether you want to use the term right-wing or not. But Nigel Farage is the head of Britain's most popular party now. And this guy is a badass, and the UK is slowly turning. So certainly, in some way, shape, or form, the United States, there's no way we could possibly be further to the left. I know we're a larger country. I know our diversity is much more pronounced, but there can't be any way we can be more left than the UK, right? I think the tide is turning. It's starting to turn for everybody, including the media, which never gets anything right. I don't know whether you saw the story about the Disney cruise raid. ICE agents storm Disney cruise in California to arrest multiple staff in front of stunned passengers. Well, it turns out there are a bunch of people who were, it had to have a community note on that from the New York Post. It said, hey, missing a little context here. The arrests were part of a massive child pornography sting. 28 suspects, including Disney staff, were charged with possession, distribution, or receipt of child sexual exploitation material. So initially, the liberal media, when they saw this, they were like, oh, no, ICE is even raiding Disney cruises, everything else. And it turns out there is a totally legit reason. Of course, even if they were just illegals, there'd be a legit reason. But nonetheless, that's how things are going. So the media isn't winning. You've got Jake Tapper having to resort, as I said earlier, to sourpussing over Marco Rubio quoting 1990s hip-hop lyrics. So these guys are absolutely, totally, I think, bankrupt, and they're not having any fun. Well, I hope you guys have fun this weekend. I hope you have a blessed weekend. Thank you so much for listening to the Allman Report. Ashland, thank you for everything as well, and we will talk to you on Monday. This is Common Sense Radio, and the next up, ladies and gentlemen, Tony Colombo and Company on News Talk STL. Have a good one.
Hey, it's Susie Moore with a reminder that for 20 years, Harpo's Chesterfield has been the heart of West County's fun. With their award-winning patio, voted best in West County, and excellent sports bar atmosphere, Harpo's is your one-stop destination. The mouth-watering menu has made them famous throughout St. Louis. Plus, they've got great drink specials and the friendliest, most energetic staff around. Whether you're dining in or carrying out, Harpo's delivers fun, food, and drinks like no one else. Harpo's Chesterfield. Call 636-537-1970 or visit harposstl.com.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness One. Wellness One is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common-sense science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m.